Hello, my name is John Burris. Today's video is called Running Isn't Natural, the Hidden Cost of Your Daily Miles. Most people go out and run. They want to lose weight, they want to get in shape, they want to train their heart, yet they don't realize the consequences of their daily run. The reason is because running, as we're doing in today's culture, isn't natural. There's no animal in the world that goes out and runs 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, 26 miles without stopping on a pavement or a track. Most animals are sitting around most of the day, sleeping or resting, and occasionally they'll go for a sprint after something to eat. It's called hunting, but they're not out running as we are in our daily lives. So as somebody who used to run and play sports, I can tell you I felt great while I was doing it, but it had lasting implications to my body. And as a massage therapist and body worker, I can also tell you many of the clients I see who are runners have all kinds of problems that exist in their body. And they don't realize that running is the source of those problems. So in today's video, I'm going to shed new light on running, how it's not a natural movement. There are better ways to take care of yourself. Every August, September, I notice this. A pack of kids, either boys or girls, 12 to 14 years old, out on the street, on the trail, running. They're training for the cross-country team, whatnot. They're getting into high school and whatnot. And this is what I notice. But it also saddens me to observe this ill-fated behavior. Now, most people think, oh, I'm going to get my kid into sports and we're going to train them and whatnot. So what I notice as a body worker and somebody who studies bodies, in that pack of young men or women, they all want to belong somewhere. They all want to join a team or club and make new friends or going into high school. So they get out there and run and train. So a handful of them do okay. They're in the pack in the front and they look pretty balanced. They may have had some running training or joined a running club early on. But the majority of them are suffering. They're limping, they're dragging one leg, their feet are killing them, their knees are bulging outward, their back is hurting, and they keep pushing and pushing and pushing and driving themselves because they're so eager to belong. And all they're doing is wearing their bodies down. They're destroying their bodies because they're not balanced. They have no running training, they're not balanced. The analogy I like to make is this. If your mechanic tells you the best way to keep your car in shape is to keep driving it. And you do, until one day you have a flat tire. But you keep driving the car because the mechanic told you to drive the car. So you drive around with a flat tire. And it wears your tire out, wears your rim out, wears your axle out, wears your transmission out. All because you were told, go out and drive the car. The same thing happens with our bodies. They're not balanced. We're dragging our hips, we're pounding the pavement. We're using our legs as shock absorbers, especially from the knee down, the shin areas. It's no different than spending your life in a construction site where you use your arms with a jackhammer. Your arms are going to be pretty tight and pretty messed up over time. When you run, you're using your legs, your lower legs especially, as shock absorbers to absorb the imbalances and the cushioning from the rest of your body. So when I watch these young people running, I feel sad because I know what it's doing to their bodies. I have so many of my clients who, as a body worker and massage therapist, who come to me with an assortment of issues, and many of them are caused by running. They've got plantar fasciitis, they've got sprained ankles, they've got blown out knees, they've got hip injuries, they've got tight hamstrings because the running is a very unnatural thing for us to be doing, and it's destroying most people's bodies. For example, spend any time watching a race, whether it be a cross-country race or a turkey trot or a 5K or a 10K or a marathon. You could be in the middle of a race or at the end. Watch the bodies, all the knee braces, all the ankle braces, all the back braces, people limping along. No one's got a smile on their face because they're all suffering. Watch at the finish line. It's like a graveyard of bodies as the dying bodies cross the finish line because they're in so much agony and pain because they just destroyed their bodies. There's a better way to take care of ourselves, and running is going to destroy most people. Now, there are a few people who are born to run, and you watch them, they're like a gazelle. They plant and they sprint off their toes, and they've got a great stride, and they move their arms, their hips. So there are a few people who are very balanced while they're running, but the majority of people are not balanced. They're pounders. They ground into the ground. They drag their legs, their hips, their back. So from the very beginning, running is destroying most people. And we'll see here in the picture of the average runner, you can see how tight his hamstrings are. The bulging in his calf muscles. He probably gets calf cramps every night. And how his shins are taking the impact from the pounding. This is what we consider normal. So we've normalized hardness and tightness in the body. As a body worker, I can tell you, the people I touch with my hands, the athletes are not the healthiest. They're the worst bodies I work on. The fitness people, the runners, are the worst bodies I work on. They have the tightest hips, the tightest joints and whatnot. They are the worst bodies because we fell into this illusion that we need to harden our bodies and train our bodies into health. We came to believe that the only way to become healthy is through fitness, and that's a mistake. While fitness could be a tool in your health toolbox, it shouldn't be the only tool, and it shouldn't be the most important tool. And running, if you're not balanced, is going to wear you down. Like I said, if you're completely balanced, it's going to be better. But if you're not balanced, you're going to be worn down. So here's 3 keys for runners. Most people don't stretch enough. They don't do yoga. Their fascia is hard and tight. They're petrified in their body. So they're rigid and they have easier ability to hurt themselves. Tear a hamstring, tear a groin muscle, blow an Achilles tendon. Your fascia, when it's not stretched, will tear. That's why yogis very seldom tear things, because they're liquid and soft. Runners have injuries all the time because their tissues are so hard and tight. They tear easily and they're broken. Most people who run have no training on how to run. You know, we have more training on how to go to the bathroom than how to run. We think, well, I ran when I was 12, 13, 14. I should know how to run. Well, you don't know how to run. You don't know how to move your arms, your legs, and hips, how to push off the ground. You might look at your shoes. You might be wearing your shoes on the outside because you're not balanced in your feet and you're pronated, or you have a bad heel strike, whatnot. Because most people have no training on how to run, they're wearing their body down. Imagine giving the car keys to an 8-year-old, go, hey, go drive the car. You know how to drive. You drove that when you're 4-year-old, that little electric thing. Now go drive the real car on the freeway. Well, most people have no training on how to run, so they wear their bodies down. And also, most people have pre-existing injuries. They have that old ankle sprain from 8 years old when they fell off the jungle gym. They broke their foot when they were 12 skiing. Those injuries don't go away. Now you're dealing with a body that's imbalanced, and now you're trying to run on an imbalanced body. For instance, most people don't even know how to walk correctly. They are supposed to walk with their whole body, but they just use their feet. They limp, they drag their leg, their knee rolls out, they don't move their hips or their back. So imagine a body that doesn't even know how to walk, try to run. Watch people, like I said, go to the end line of a race. Watch the dying bodies crossing the finishing line. They're broken, but we keep doing it because we were told to do it. And here's the most interesting part of this whole dilemma. I was part of this generation. I remember when the running craze started in 1969. I was there. I was a young athlete, and I remember it starting. And here's what happened. In 1969, a NASA scientist, a medical doctor named Dr. Kenneth Cooper, he was putting astronauts in space, and he'd put them on treadmills and test their heart, and said the only way you're going to be healthy is if you train your heart and you have a low resting heart rate. That was his myth. So in 1969, Dr. Kenneth Cooper published this book, Aerobics. And it started the running craze, which eventually became the tennis craze and the marathon craze and the triathlon craze and all this crazy aerobic conditioning stuff. Well, what happened was this. We followed Dr. Kenneth Cooper's advice because we were told we were going to die of a heart attack if we didn't train our hearts. He created the theorem 220, and then you subtract your age, and that's your maximum heart rate. And then you're supposed to do between 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate to be in your target zone. I did that after my run, after my swim, after my aerobic class, after my cycling. I had to be in my target zone or I'm going to die of a heart attack. The problem is so many people still died of heart attacks even though they're cardiovascular fit. Dr. Kenneth Cooper took us on this running craze where people still believe they need to train their heart. So that's where a lot of runners are getting into. And people don't realize also Monday morning between 4 a.m. and 10 a.m. is the most likely time you're going to have a heart attack, no matter how cardiovascular conditioned you are. It's crazy. It has nothing to do with your conditioning. It has to do with your stress level. But we're still in this model. So here's the interesting part. I found an article in Fit Magazine, April 2000, and Dr. Kenneth Cooper, after decades of telling us we need to go out and run, here's what he now says. Dr. Cooper says this, I quote, "What made me change my mind was telephone calls from distraught widows whose husband had followed my guidelines and had died of heart attack," says Dr. Cooper. "I now recommend walking at any speed for 30 minutes 3 times a week. I used to think that to be exercising aerobically, you had to be in your target heart rate or you were wasting your time," unquote. So Dr. Kenneth Cooper, the man who started the running craze, now says, I don't recommend it anymore. Go out and walk a couple times a week at any speed. Well, how come we never got the memo? Follow the money trail. It was a buried story. The media buried the story because look how much money would be lost if people at the gym found out they didn't have to train their heart anymore. Look how many marathons would be canceled if people realized they didn't have to train their heart anymore. So the story got buried, but Dr. Kenneth Cooper, years later, says, I don't recommend it anymore. So why are people still running? So once again, there are people who are born to run, but most people aren't. And it wears your body down. It blows out your knees, your ankles, your hips, your feet. As a body worker, I see so many people every day who ran and their bodies are worn down and blown out because it's not natural to run, at least the way we're running now. Yeah, if you were at the beach running around back and forth, that's natural. But running 5 miles on the pavement in the morning or on the track or the treadmill at the gym, that is not natural. It wears you down. So it's not a natural experience and you will be worn down because of it. So there are much better ways to take care of your body, in my experience. There are ways you can still do cardiovascular exercise without the pounding. You can go on a treadmill or elliptical machine. You can swim. You can do things that don't have the pounding involved. That's one way. You can do more yoga, more stretching. So here's the 3 things I recommend if you choose to run. You've got to stretch. You got to make your body more like a bag of water than a bag of rocks. You've got to do yoga regularly, stretch yoga regularly, whatever you call it, fitness, stretching, yoga, whatever you call it. You've got to be softer or else you will tear, you will rip, and you will basically not be able to move after the end of a run. Also, you've got to correct those injuries. You've got to find a massage therapist or a body worker who knows what they're doing and say, hey, let's correct that sprained ankle, that blown out knee, those tight feet, those tight ankles that don't move. Let's correct your problems. It's like fixing your flat tire in your car. You've got to correct the problems to get it to move. So you've got to do those things to keep going and also try to get some training. Find a track coach, a running coach who teaches you how to move your body in space so you're efficient. You're moving efficiently or else your body will wear down. So that's my story on running. There are a few people who are capable of running smoothly without injuring themselves. Most people should not be running because it's not a natural experience. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can subscribe to this channel here. For more leading edge information to come, I've got a great book called Return to Nature, The 5 Pillars of Healing. Also visit me at my website, johnburros.com, for more leading edge information. Thank you.